on, we'll talk more about this as well as review market activities from last week as Rotimi Fakejo joins me now. Good morning, Rotimi.
Good morning, Harriet.
Well, Rotimi, I remember that during one of our conversations last week, you were optimistic that the sell pressure will ease if investors reduce their profit taking, but we didn't see much of that happening. So what actually drove the market last week?
Well, dwindling gradually, and I think the last loss we saw on Friday was about 0.5 or 0.47%. And I think that actually dwindled. And from what we are seeing presently now is not really in isolation of what I said last week. But I think the most important thing is that that selling pressure really came, and it was really, really very massive on the market. I think with the way it turned out, so many things contributed to it. The global market trend contributed to it. The negative news that had really filtered the market with respect to the capital adequacy ratio for banks was also part of it. And a host of other. I think another thing that actually contributed was the misinformation concerning Owando PLC, which the investors misinterpreted, and it actually brought a selling pressure on that particular stock. So I think those are some of the things that actually contributed, and I think investors are getting clearer picture of the true information concerning that, and also the CAR. Position. I think the CBN is going to make mention of it during the week. And one other thing that is going to play out is that the timeline given to banks, which is February 4th, to actually increase their capital reserve requirements to about for public sector funds to 75%. I think that pressure is going to go down because that money will be retired by tomorrow. So I think that selling pressure is really going to go down significantly this week, and we've seen that happening already with what we are seeing presently in the market right now.
So now, Rotimi, we're going to come back to looking at what we're expecting from most of those companies for this week. But let's take a look at Forte Oil. Now, this company has released its full-year audited results, the first for the year, and it's actually proposing a dividend payout of 4.31 billion naira at 4 naira per share. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the most significant thing to look at concerning Forte Oil is in terms of integrity. They came to the market sometimes last year when they brought their third quarter results, talking about what they are likely going to do, and they said that for several years they've not declared dividend, but for this year they're going to pay dividend. I think the expectation were having in mind was something between 2 naira 50 kobo and 3 naira, but I think they've really come to surprise the market with the payment of 4 naira. Then I think in terms of good corporate governance, which is what the Nigerian Stock Exchange is trying to entrench, we have seen that also significantly in the sense that they have been the first company that is bringing forth its auditor report for the year 2013. And I think that is not enough. They held their board meeting on Friday last week. And that same day, before the end of the closing business for the day, we saw the result being released into the market. And I think going further to this, we saw a lot of superlative performance coming from that company. We saw an increase of about 467% in their profit before tax. Then also in their profit after tax, we saw an increase of about 397%. An earnings per share growth of about 365%, and also a dividend payout of 4 naira per share. I think the kind of is becoming clearer that the kind of justification that is given to some stocks in the market is quite a welcome development, because people bought into the future of the company last year. We saw it as the best performing stock for the year 2013. And I think this, for what they have brought out now, it has really come out to play that, yes, indeed, the market is really responsive to whatever fundamentals that the company has. And we have seen so much significance of this in Forte Oil PLC. And I think the way it's been, another way to look at what they have done is not just this result in isolation. It's actually because for what they have in mind, there's going to be a sustenance of what they already declared for this year. The business acquisition of Geregu power plant which came in at the tail end of the year, is yet to reflect fully in what we are seeing. In fact, I have not even seen such figure reflecting here, because by the time it comes in, it's really going to add so much, and a lot of investors who are still shying away from the stock at the present price is definitely going to have it have a change of heart. And I think the kind of the dividend yield is far above market average. The market average is about 2.5% dividend yield, and they are coming up with as much as over 4 naira 50 kobo. And I think with this, I believe
Well, so
the
Rotimi,
future is
sorry to
very
just
bright
cut
for
you
Porto
here,
LPLC.
because most of what you said, it seems as if it's actually corroborating what the company says, that it was the best performing and investment stock for last year, because you've reeled out the numbers, and from all indications, these numbers are likely to grow exponentially now.
Yes, I think the way it is, by the time investors begin to peruse this results, they're going to see that among the oil and gas sector stocks, I think they will really be able to make a good choice of which one they should follow after. And I think with the way it stands as well, we are seeing a dividend payout of 4 naira now, and out of a profit of about 5 points, over 5 billion. By the time the figures from the Geregu power plant begins to add on to what we are seeing, and also the diversification that they have done so far, and the kind of re-engineering they have put into their processes, and I think the investors are really going to have it well. And as much as that have held on to this stock for several years back, I think now is the time for them to reap a good return on what they have actually put their money on. And I think the future is just so
Well,
bright for
Rotimi,
the oil
let's leave Forte Oil. Let's leave Forte Oil for a while, and I know that in the course of our conversations during the week, I know Forte Oil will come up again. But let's talk a little about major markets. You actually mentioned it at the start of this conversation, and we noticed that in the last couple of weeks, most of these major indices have actually finished south. Will this have any effect on the Nigerian equities market?
Well, I think what the Nigerian market is not in isolation of what happens in other clients. I think maybe taking you, maybe giving you the figures we have for the FTSE 100. I think the year-to-date change of that index is 2.3%. The Nikkei, for the Japan Stock Exchange, the change downwards is about 7.4% negative. Then for Dow Jones, we have about 4.42% negative position for year to date, since the beginning of the year to date. And for the Nigerian Stock Exchange All Share Index, we are seeing a drop of about 2.245% year to date. And I think when you make a comparison of what we are seeing and looking at what the developed market is doing, and even a worse performance coming from the emerging market, I think what we've seen so far in our own market is really in compliance of what is happening out there. And I think with time, we're going to see a much change, even coming this way. At least with the kind of result that is being released into the market, it's really going to support the market to the northward movement. And I think that definitely will impact positively. So what we are seeing is not in isolation. It's just a reflection of what is happening globally. And I think it's not going to last long at all. We're going to see a lot of changes this week and this month.
So, Rotimi, what's the mood at the market now, at the trading floor this morning? Any indications as to what direction the market will take today?
Well, I think for instance, Transcorp PLC is opening the market at 5% off. Forte Oil PLC is opening the market at 5% off. Wando PLC as well is opening the market 5% off. And I think there's several other securities, even some in the banking sector, that are actually coming up in an up. I mean, coming up with respect to what they did last week. So I think the market is really very responsive, and the market deals with fundamentals coming from each of the companies. And I think for what we're going to have today, it definitely, the way it seems right now, we're definitely going to have the market closing up today.
Well, thank you so much, Rotimi, for sharing your thoughts with us. Do have a profitable trading day.
Thank you.
Well, is optimistic that the market will finish in winning ways today after taking severe hits last week. We know the market finished last week at 3.21%. We'll take a quick break now on the program, and when we come back, we'll take a look at some of those numbers from the major markets. Please join us again.